Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio for 49 years this year, since 1977. Welcome, one and all. We have so much to cover, and Judge Janine has gone off, which we'll get to in a few minutes, but I want to talk about, the genius, really the political genius of Donald Trump, because that's what we're experiencing right now. There are some major stories that I'm going to share with you this morning that are just amazing, but that Trump has accomplished, including one I'm going to get to in a few minutes that most of you for sure have not heard, and it's massive. Trump just did something so huge that people have wanted done since the 1980s, and no president has even attempted it. But Donald Trump just did it, and I'll tell you what that is in just a bit. However, I want to start with just explaining, because I realized this morning when I was reading through the news and I was seeing the things that I was seeing, what a political genius Trump is in this respect. Donald Trump is able to take issues that most everyone thinks will be unpopular things to do or positions to take, and he does them and shows that they're actually incredibly popular. Let me give you just a couple of examples. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and give a list, but I want to give a couple big ones. Now, shutting down the border, that was a popular issue. We all knew that. I mean, if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. But Donald Trump has deported over 1.5 million illegals already, and a huge chunk of them the most violent people on earth. Over 1.5 million in just a short couple of months, because it took a while to get everybody in place to do this. The deportations, everyone thought that was going to be so unpopular, and it's not. It's incredibly popular. Look at what's going on right now in Washington, D.C. What's going on in Washington, D.C. is amazing, and you're going to hear from some D.C. residents on the program today. He has sent the United States military into an American city to rid it of crime. And you would think that military vehicles going down a residential street in America would be unpopular. And what are we finding? It's incredibly popular. Not to these idiots in the media. I get that, and the Never Trumpers. But I've been watching people in Washington, D.C. that are so excited about this. There's one guy, I'm going to play this for you later in the show. There's this one guy, he's African-American, lives in D.C. He's a retired UPS driver, and he's standing down the street from the White House, and you can see the White House a couple of blocks behind him, and he's talking about how great it is that they've cleaned out the criminals. He says, you're not smelling anyone smoking weed or anything. And the Donald Trump has taken these issues that most everybody thinks are unpopular things to do and unpopular positions to take, and shows that they're actually popular. It's amazing. Donald Trump is the most popular president we've ever had. Ever. More popular than Lincoln, more popular than George Washington, more popular than FDR, Franklin Roosevelt. Without question, hands down, the most popular president in the history of the United States is Donald Trump. Now, we've got this poison media that are telling you different, but that's not the case. Okay, so let's jump right into Judge Janine, and this is wild. Now, I've got a couple things from Judge Janine, but I want to focus in on the crime right now. So this is her. This clip I'm going to play for you in a moment is Judge Janine talking about the crime, and this is the deal. These criminals that are running these cities. I saw a woman yesterday, African-American woman online yesterday. She's in her 80s or 90s, a lifelong resident of Washington, D.C., and she says she has to be home before the sun goes down. Who would attack and violate an 80, 90-year-old woman Well, these thugs. And what we have actually in Washington, D.C., what we have in Chicago and other major American blue cities that are overrun with crime, these are terrorists. They're not just criminals, they're terrorists like Al-Qaeda or ISIS. And the people that live in these American cities are being terrorized by terrorists. And President Trump is treating them as such. Exactly. So they've got this talking point, which is absurd. The crime stats down. They just fired the crime stats guy because he was cooking the books, but they're still going, the media, with the crime stats from the guy that was just fired for cooking the books. Those are his numbers. And Judge Janine had a run-in yesterday at a press conference with one of these reporters. I'm going to play it now. She has with her these boards of people that have been victimized by these terrorist criminals. Listen.
Oh, stop it. We are putting all kinds of resources onto the street.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Watch this. Or listen.
Crime rates at the end of it. What changed?
It's never enough. This changed. It's never enough. You tell these families crime has dropped. You tell the mother of the intern who was shot going out from McDonald's near the Washington Convention Center, oh, crime is down. You tell the kid who was just beat the hell and back with a severe concussion and a broken nose, crime is down. No, that falls on deaf ears. And my ears are deaf to that. And that's why I fight the fight. Thank you.
Oh, this is great. I mean, she just went off on that reporter. And then she dropped the mic and walked out of the room, Judge Janine. And, here's the thing with what's happened. In America, there's been periods throughout our history, there's been a few periods where something has happened and massive change occurred because of it. Inflection points, I don't know what you want to call them. I'll give you a couple. Rosa Parks, the great... Now, I understand history doesn't record these things 100% accurate as they happen, but there's these moments in history that change everything. Rosa Parks, a Republican African-American woman. She got on a bus. She wouldn't give up her seat for a white passenger. The white racist Democrat bus driver couldn't get her to give up her seat for a white passenger. He called the police. Rosa Parks got arrested. That one incident with Rosa Parks gave rise to Martin Luther King and gave birth to the Montgomery bus boycott, which led to the civil rights movement that ended over 100 years, about 100, over 100 years by the time they were done, of Democrat Jim Crow, Democrat segregation, Democrat racism, institutionalized racism against blacks in this country, all because of Rosa Parks. The country, the Boston Massacre. Yeah, there's other incidents, but the Boston Massacre, when the Brits murdered a black man and other American colonists, it caused people to say enough is enough. And that was the spark that caused the great American Revolution. They gave birth not just to democracy here in America, but throughout the world, because we're the oldest democracy. And as crazy as this sounds, a lot of times when you're living through history, you don't realize what a historical event that it is. Because a lot of these events, whether it's Rosa Parks or the Boston Massacre, are, they're political events, sometimes staged, right? But that's okay. There's still inflection points, a moment in time that changes everything. We just had one in this country with big balls like Rosa Parks and the Boston Massacre, inspired what President Trump is doing right now, ridding Washington, D.C., and it's going to spread to other cities under his leadership. We'll talk more about that coming up. Ridding American cities, starting with our nation's capital, of terrorists wandering the streets day and night, victimizing the citizens. these thugs that went after Big Balls' girlfriend, they're juveniles. And these terrorists, I'm going to call them what they are. Do you agree with me or not on this? They're terrorists. These terrorists know that they got these liberal lunatics running these blue cities, these Democrat cities, and that if they're under 18, they're going to be home for dinner. And this gang of terrorist thugs in D.C., I know they call it was an attempted carjacking. I don't think so. I think it was an attempted rape of Big Balls' girlfriend. And Big Balls, I know it sounds crazy because the funny nickname, Big Balls stood up, risked his life to protect his girlfriend from being raped and God knows what else by these terrorist thugs. They beat the tar out of him. He was bloody from head to toe, almost killed him. And President Trump saw that and said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And what's happening in D.C. right now is something President Trump's wanted to do, but like Rosa Parks, Big Balls was the inspiration for something. And President Trump is actually, I got a story here on this. Well, I'll pull it up in just a bit. I don't have it queued up right here, the story, because I don't want to get. But the president at the White House right now, they're looking at replicating this in other American cities. And what happens? You got these Democrats on TV that are saying, well, crime's down, which it's not. The books are cooked. The stats are fake. But, so there's so much murder, death, destruction, vandalism, and injuries that people must endure because some stats. How much crime is acceptable to you? You know how much crime is acceptable to Donald Trump and Judge Janine? 0 crime. That's the crime rate we're shooting for. If you'd like to comment on anything I've said so far, the number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our first break of this Wednesday morning. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll be right back with your calls after this. Welcome, guys. If you are new, make sure you subscribe. This is a radio station break that we're in right now. And don't forget, guys, at MyPillow.com, huge savings with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. And right now, it's free shipping on all orders $100 or more. That's right, free shipping on all orders that are $100 or more at MyPillow.com. So go to MyPillow.com, take advantage of this free shipping offer and huge discounts site-wide on some of the most popular products using my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right? And I'd appreciate that, guys. And it's a great way, you know, every time you use my promo code Kane at checkout, you are supporting all of my content. All right. And we'll be back on the air in just a couple of minutes. If you're on hold, stand by. We have one opening on our board. At 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Just one opening. So if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to the calls when we get back. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is great. I'm buying a piece of audio equipment that I made an offer on, and they said okay to it. All right. Good price. Awesome. Oh, yeah. We are doing very, very well. Very, very well. Oh, yeah. Things could not be going better. You know, what President Trump is doing is should have been done a long time ago, but nobody had the guts to do it. Let me ask you guys in the chat, and let me know with a yes or no. Do you agree that these cities are being terrorized? That these are terrorists? Terrorizing American citizens in these Democrat cities? How could you disagree with that statement? I don't see how anybody could disagree. Yeah, I mean, and I think we got to start calling them what they are, terrorist. And this idiot police chief that doesn't know what chain of command means. What the heck? Okay. Let's see. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, guys. About 30 seconds, we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. There's one opening on our board at 888-465-2631. If you're new to the program, welcome. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Before I go to the phones, I do want to play one clip. This is this DEI police chief, lady police chief of D.C.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So
how can anyone who's a citizen of the United States not know what chain of command means? This DEI police chief who's overseeing this terrorist crime wave, she had no idea what chain of command meant? How is that possible? I almost feel bad for her. What does that mean? She's not even smart enough to, not only does she not know what one of the most common American terms, phrases are or is, whatever the right grammar is, she's not even smart enough to fake her way through it and figure it out. Sometimes people will use a word or a phrase you may not be familiar with, but because of the context, you can figure out what it is they mean. And the Mayor Bowser from Mario Kart, Bowser from Mario World, she knows she's got a dumb police chief and came in right quick with the save. But she's a DEI hire. Didn't earn it. And she fits certainly 2 and maybe 3 check marks. Woman, not white, and I'm assuming she's gay. So all that matters is not competence or brain power. It's just we got some boxes that are checked off here. We got 3. Hire her, chief of police. All right. To the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Oh, Richie, I'm going to put you on hold because you call every day, and I've got a full board. Let's get some people that don't get on, but I'll get back to Richie. You're on the air. I took a call at random. It was him. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Elliot from Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering why you guys never you avoid the Epstein files. How do you feel about it?
Well, first off, see, this is the Democrat talking point. Anytime something's being discussed, call in and say Epstein, because that's not the topic at hand. We talk about the new news, not old tired stuff, but I don't expect someone living in Tampa to know about what's going on in the world. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
That was awesome, Judge Janine, because, no nonsense, straight talk. And I hope both those do-nothing mayors of Los Angeles and D.C. heard that loud and clear. I mean, here you are, two African-American female mayors.
Well, it's not two. It's three. Three black women are running the city, right? We got this idiot police chief that doesn't know the chain of command. We've got Mayor Bowser.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm.
We got Mayor Bowser. And then who's this other woman? I don't know, that was at the press conference. Is she the deputy mayor?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea they were in charge, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, all this, oh my goodness, I don't understand it. And they politicize it. And let those voters know, I mean, goodness, they do not care about you. But that was awesome, what Judge Janine mentioned.
Well, they've got this thing, Chris.
They've
got this thing that people in D.C. and other Democrat cities, there's a certain level of murder, rape, and violence that they have to tolerate.
That's a very good way of putting it. You're right. Acceptable violence. Yeah.
Yeah. Not in the neighborhood of the
excuses.
Yeah, exactly. Well, crime's down. So there's not as many murders, deaths, rapes, burglaries, carjackings, robberies. So when you get to a certain level, you guys just got to accept it. If you're murdered, well, hey, stats are down. You're dead. Your wife's murdered after they raped her, but the stats are down. So that's what's important.
I got news for them. They're not above it. And sooner or later, they're going to get. So it's like you said, there are certain things that happen that just, people just, that's enough, and move forward with it. And it's horrible.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that was awesome, and I hope that's just played over and over. I don't know if you're going to get that on CNN and MSNBC and all that other stuff, but everyone needs to hear that because that's reality. Stop
all right,
listening.
Chris. Appreciate the call. Great call from Chris. Chris is always a good caller. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Ricochet, the trucker. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good. Hey, listen, 42 years being out here on the road, I've made it into all of the hearts of these cities, and it is such a great day in MAG America. Downtown New York City, I've been told by police officers, don't stop at the red lights because it's too dangerous. I've seen people stopped at red lights and gangs of thugs come out and break into their trailers and start stealing stuff as they, sit at the red light or waiting for the congestion. It's so safe out here. I carry a shotgun, a handgun, and a CO2 pepper gun, and just seeing what's going on is amazing. I love it. It's the only thing that kept me going under the Biden administration was knowing that God was bringing back Trump to this country. So as a truck driver going down into Compton and through Chinatown and Brooklyn and all of that stuff, I cannot be more ecstatic.
You sound like Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China with all these Desmond. Did you ever see Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell?
Oh yeah, I have. And
sounds like you.
Exactly. Because of my guns. Yeah, no.
And you're in Chinatown too, just like Kurt Russell was.
It is. I've never had to use my lethal weapons. Thank God. I've used my Byrna, which is a CO2 tear gas type of gun.
Oh, my goodness.
2 or 3. But, at least those people went home. Most of the time it's just somebody getting mad and doing something stupid. You don't need to kill them.
Well, listen, I got to run, Ricochet, but I appreciate the call, all right? Now, if you're on hold, stand by. There's one opening on the board where Ricochet was at. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys, okay? We will be back shortly. And I want to talk to those of you right now who are seniors. Did you know that there are thousands, well, really millions, multi-millions, thousands just in Florida, but there are millions of seniors nationwide who are on the wrong Medicare plan? That's right. Most seniors that are on the wrong plan do not even know it. And that's money and benefits you could be missing out on each and every year. And that's where Chapter comes in. Now, Chapter recently joined us here on the program. They can help you for free with your Medicare questions, no matter what state you are in the United States. They cover all 50 states. Give them a call. And when you call the number that's on your screen, which is also in the description of the video, I'll give out the number in just a moment. You're going to get a live person on the line, a real live person. They'll answer all of your questions about Medicare and your Medicare policy, and they'll give you answers to all those questions in just a few short minutes. Do you know chapter clients, the average chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare? That's right, $1,100. It means a lot of them are saving a lot more than that. And here's the best part. When you call chapter and they help you, it is 100% free. No strings, no catches, 100% free. They'll review your policy. If the policy you have is right for you, they'll tell you. So at least you'll have peace of mind. Open enrollment will be here before you know it. So also you want to give them a call. That's a very busy time for people that are in the Medicare business, so you can jump the line. Here's the number, 805-754-3033, 805-754-3033. Make sure you have the right plan. Save money and take the stress out of your Medicare. 805-754-3033. All right, give them a call. Let's see, we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, we'll be back in just over a minute. Just over a minute, we'll be back. And we'll be taking your calls. I'm going to play this audio before I take some calls. Well, I'll take some calls first. Let's take some calls first. Less than a minute, we'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe, all right? Expect a lot of Democrats to keep trying to get us to talk about Epstein. Oh my goodness. Gonna get some calls about Teapot Dome, the Lindbergh kidnapping, and OJ too. I mean, There we go. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Be ready. Things are going very well. Donald Trump's doing the right thing, ridding the streets of Washington, D.C. of these criminal terrorists terrorizing the citizens. Yeah, that's what he's doing. And this idiot police chief that doesn't know what the chain of command means.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it?
What does that mean? She doesn't know what chain of command means? Listen to this. This is the police chief. Let me pull this up. She is also not just dumb, weird. This is the chief of police in uniform of D.C., who no longer, she's just a figurehead now. She's been removed from power. Pam Bondi's the chief of police for Washington, D.C. I don't know what this DEI chief is doing when she goes to work. She has no operational authority. But this is her in full dress uniform on stage talking to a group of people, the D.C. police chief, about what and who she is. Listen to this.
I'm just a branch off of an old tree. And I'm just that branch that's still standing. And as the leaves fall off, that's all I am. I'm just a tree. And you know what I like about being a tree? I'm glad God has chosen to use this tree.
What the heck is she talking about? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, here we go. Watch. Yes. I sense an Epstein.
Hi, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Doing good. I just want to check on your mental health. That's pretty serious thing nowadays. I just want to check up and see how you're doing.
My mental health. Well, I don't know that you're mentally unhealthy if you want people in an American city to live in a crime-free zone. That makes someone mentally ill.
I think. Well, can you repeat that again? Sorry.
When you believe that people in the nation's capital, an American city, should be able to live in a crime-free city, not being victimized by criminal terrorists. That makes you crazy?
Like what? Like what criminal terrorists? Can you explain what criminal terrorists? Like what? What's
the criminals that are walking the streets of DC? Well, that were before the military and the feds moved in. Didn't you see what happened with Big Balls? A group of teenage thugs tried to rape his girlfriend and beat him to death almost.
No, but I did see that when our president was with the man
Epstein. Didn't I tell you?
The notorious man. Why?
Didn't I tell you? As soon as you called in, I said, watch. I sensed Epstein. Hey, listen. I would thank you for the call, but if I did, I'd be lying. See, right? He thinks he's walking me down a garden path. Oh my goodness! Isn't school back in? It's back in here in Florida. Kids still out? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from, idiot? You're on the air. Yes. Once, twice. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. Once, twice. You didn't make it. All right. Let's try this one.
Sure.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Davey. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from me. You called me. I'm hearing from you.
Exactly. So my question is, I just a simple explanation for if Donald Trump happens to pardon Giselle Maxwell.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about that. Sorry. No distractions here. You're not going to distract us into another conversation. Call your weirdo friends and have that discussion. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jose. I'm calling from the Bronx. How
okay.
You doing, Brian?
All right, Jose. What's up, man?
I just want to say thank you, Steve Kane. I want to say hi to you and to your wife, Kathy. She's got a great voice. The only thing that I want to talk about today is like I'm going to plead the fifth. My ignorance. I did not know that D.C. was that bad. I don't know if I can say his name, the Dodge guy, big. No.
All right. First dump of the day, Mike. Oh, my goodness. I tell you, these guys, you notice all these pervs, they're obsessed with Epstein. They say weird words. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. We got to wait for the delay to rebuild. But that gives me a chance to share something with you. First dump of the day. In fact, I think that's the first dump of the week, and we're on Wednesday. What's going on here? Oh, did we get all the way to Wednesday and this is the first time we've had to use the dump button? I want to share this. This is amazing. This video went very viral yesterday. This is an African-American man. His name's Dwayne. He is a retired UPS driver, and he lives in Washington, D.C., and he made this video, posted it online, about the feds and the military cleaning up the terrorist criminals off the streets of D.C. Listen.
Man, down the city is quiet as a church mouse, young. I came all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. So peaceful, young.
And now keep in mind, this is middle of the week here.
I don't smell no weed, young.
No weed.
I don't see no homeless people. I mean, I came all the way through the southeast side, all the way down here. You can see now I'm at the White House, young, man. It's quiet, young. It's a shame that it takes somebody to have to sit in your classroom in order for you to be in order, yeah? Because that's what it feels like, yeah? You got to be babysitter to do your job, yeah? Stuff been out of control for years. You got to do better, yeah? You got to do better, yeah? And mainly, yeah, you got the problems. It's us, man. It's always us giving everybody a bad name, yeah? We'll see how long this lasts, yeah? How many murders was it last night? How many carjackings was it last night? Talk to me.
Yep.
And y'all keep on posting all these data numbers and things of that nature that y'all see everybody else reposting. The stuff that came from the Metropolitan Police Department and the mayor, yeah?
See, this is amazing because when you see these people that actually live in the city, not these paid pundits from ivory towers and television studios, you're getting to find out that the people of D.C. support what President Trump's doing, ridding their streets of these criminal terrorists.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. You can't be that stupid. You can't be, man.
That's right.
Who enters that information to get that data analysis, young? People do. You can enter whatever numbers you want to make whatever report show what, but you can't hide the crime, young. You can't do it.
That's right.
Let me give you something to break it down to you for those that don't understand. I retired from UPS, right? So what they used to do to play with the numbers or whatever, we have mission packages. You'll have drivers over the hours. They go in and enter the information, and the report will show whatever they needed to show to keep their bonus that week for their bosses not to fire their ass. So stop believing that stuff. And I don't know if you ever had to deal with the D.C. government, young, but they suck, young.
Yeah.
They have got a lot more better now that the officers have did what they had to do and got all of these people out of the government and got rid of the riffraff and things of that nature. People actually do work now. Let me give you this for example, right? You got carry and conceals or whatever that were being issued by the D.C. Separate department that was handling the gun license and the things of that nature. They went from turnaround time for like 4 months, 5 months for you to have to get a gun registered in D.C. and get a carry and conceal to 2 weeks. It used to take you 3 months just to get an appointment to talk to somebody and take your information and your gun down there. Now, you go online right now and they got appointments available tomorrow. How does that happen? What changed? You put some fire under their asses and now they want to do some work.
Yeah, because they're afraid because they're being removed. So you find out with these videos that get dropped all over. So this one went viral yesterday, that the people that live in D.C., they support what President Trump's doing. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, how's it going?
Okay, I sense another Epstein guy. Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
No, I really resonated when you were talking about those criminals. I never heard about that. What happened to that?
Well, keep listening and you'll learn. All right.
You were talking about the criminals that
keep listening to the program. I'm not going to tell you on the phone. Keep listening to the program and get informed. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, first question.
Did you
infer that the incident with Rosa Parks was staged?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. Everybody knows this. Go watch Barbershop. Go watch that movie, Barber. Yeah, absolutely.
There are none so blind in those who refuse to see. Second question, why don't Trump...
Now, first off, I will say this real quick. Rosa Parks was a secretary for the local NAACP branch. There had been several instances, including one in Tallahassee. I'm speaking. There were several instances, including one in Tallahassee, Florida, where people tried to create a publicity thing around not moving on the bus, and they failed. They got arrested. There was no press. The Rosa Parks incident was one of about a half a dozen, and it got national publicity. She was a secretary with the local NAACP. It doesn't mean that what she did was bad. It brought attention to what you Democrats were doing to blacks. And I know you're a MAGA Republican, right? She was a great person, but it was a staged incident.
I'm definitely not a MAGA Republican.
Yeah, well, you're going to be off the phone in a minute if you don't become relevant. You're interrupting me. What's on your mind? With your weird voice.
Quite often, you don't have that same energy when I see you walking around.
Oh, please! If you see me, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. If you're stalking me, which I would not be surprised, and I find out about it, I will call the police and I will press charges. I just want you to know, okay? And I do not take threats like that lightly. All right, you're on the air.
Why doesn't he send the army down to the military down to?
No, did you hear what I said? If I find you were stalking me, I will call the police and I do press charges, okay? And by the way, you're no longer welcome here. You and I will never speak again. You get through on the air, you're gone. I will never speak to you again. You're not going to threaten me and then have the privilege of calling this program. All right? If I hear your voice, you'll be gone. No words, no comments, no explanations. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Dan calling from Phoenix. I'm curious.
Here we go again.
What does the Section 1 of the 14th Amendment say?
I have no idea. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. Read
Okay.
off the thing. You read something on Wikipedia. You think you're Alan Dershowitz. Go ahead, enlighten us. So try to make people think you know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't need to. You should read the Constitution though when you get the chance.
No, I've read it.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Oh, okay.
I'm curious. What time is school today? Yeah, exactly right. Get to school to probably on the short school bus too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Scott. I'm calling from Northeast Kansas City.
Hey, Kansas City. What's up?
Northeast Kansas City. There's a little bit of a difference now.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Okay, from Northeast Kansas City, what's on your mind?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I didn't get the context of what you're talking about because I had to listen to the music. I'm down to one phone. Yeah, I just want to say that in Northeast Kansas City now is a very, very nice place. It used to be.
We're not talking about Kansas City here. I don't know why you're.
Yeah, well, I'm talking because it's an American city, my man, and we are talking about D.C.
Well, I'll tell you what. You get your own show. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. Now, what I'm going to talk about right now is Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh man, we have had listeners. Sometimes listeners that go on our MAGA cruise. They drive to Florida from other states, and they stop at Friendly Tire and get tires before they drive home. We've had listeners on vacation in Florida go to Friendly Tire and get new tires for the car. Not only that, there was one guy from New York. I remember he had a Toyota 4Runner. He got 4 new tires, and he got a second set to take home to keep in his garage because the deals are so good at Friendly Tire in Margate. You can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. That's right. Friendly Mike has all the name brands you know and love. I'm a Firestone guy, but whatever brand you like, he's got them. And when I say out the door and on the road, the price he quotes you on the phone, that's it. He doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. He has thousands of used tires in stock, too. They're good used tires at great prices, and he also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. Make sure you tell him I sent you. He'll take extra good care of you. His number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness. So I might explain this when we get back on the air. Screenless calls does not mean that it's open mic and I'm turning the show over to people. It's screenless calls, but you have to talk about what we're talking about, okay? Except on Fridays, which is open phones. We call Friday, it's open phones every Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Fridays, you can call in about anything and everything on your mind. The other days of the week, you got to talk about what we're talking about. I think there's some confusion with the liberally impaired. That screenless, unvetted calls means that we're handing the show over to lunatics. No, it's not what happens. That's not how it works, guys. All right. All right. Awesome. I'm just completing this transaction. I'm buying some. I need some new audio equipment for something here in the studio, and I found someone selling it online. I made them an offer, which is a very good deal, and they accepted it. Well, that's awesome. Good. Yeah, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Stand by. Just over a minute. We'll be back, guys. About 30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Carlos from D.C. How you doing, man?
All right.
No, I just wanted to relate to what you've been saying about the police chief and how I agree that she may have been a DEI hire.
May have been. I mean, she's the dumbest person I've ever seen in public office, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of dummies that hold public office.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. When it comes to DEI hire, we would classify that as someone being hired without the experience, knowledge, or competency to provide these services in such position. Very much like a celebrity who was hired to be president with no prior political experience. Would you agree?
No. In fact, President Trump, prior to being, who wasn't hired, he was elected. And he, by the people of this great country, and elected again, and he, excuse me, and he had a lot of experience in international politics. He had, and before
international business.
No, it's the same thing. As an example, his golf resort that he has in Scotland, he had to do all kinds of negotiations with the government of Scotland to get that. That's international, and he was dealing directly with the upper levels of government. And there's other instances, too, with resorts around the world, and also locally dealing with city and state governments, and even the U.S. federal government. So, no, he had a lot of experience negotiating with governments and nations prior to becoming president, certainly more than the junior senator from Chicago, Barack Obama, who became president, or the governor of Arkansas, Bill Clinton, who became president prior to holding those offices.
I agree with you there. Referring to his golf course in Scotland, that would be the same golf course that he just took a vacation to go play at that was taxpayer funded, I believe. And then
no, excuse me, no, what he did, no, you're so, I tell you, liberals, you're so stupid and toxic and all this. No, what he did is
You MAGA are ridiculous. Trump wants his weenie back.
Okay, there we go. All right. So, no, what he did in Scotland was hold court. He took over a role that hasn't existed in a while. President Trump went to Scotland, and he stayed at his incredible golf resort, and European leaders, one by one, came to visit him in his court. President Trump, in effect, became the king of Scotland. He had the prime minister of the entire United Kingdom come to him, right? I mean, this is amazing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Ron. I just had a question for you.
What is this, a dramatic pause? Is it, there was all this...
No, I'm sorry. I just didn't know if you heard me.
The answer is I don't really care about your question. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Cowardly Craig? How you doing, buddy?
All right.
You doing good? You hanging in there? We're talking about Rosa Parks today, is that right?
No, I made a reference. But, whatever.
So what is the topic today, Brian?
Well, if you watch and listen to the program, you would hear we're talking about...
I do. You just hop around topics so much because you're a coward, so...
No, not a coward.
Yeah, you are. Hi, Poppy. I can see you on chat. You're such a loser, too.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing today, though, Brian? Can you do anything other than panic like you normally do?
If I am a coward and panicked, why do I
You
why
are
am
a
I
coward.
why do
You
I
keep
talk to
hanging up my
people?
calls.
Well, you
hang up on
you're
people.
you're a
You
crazy
avoid
yeah,
calls.
sure.
You've been avoiding Jerome from California. You've been avoiding Bob from San Diego. You avoid everyone.
No,
you get owned.
because you're a crazy person. You're not a sane
You're a crazy person,
No,
too.
you're not a sane person. And I
Why
can't.
is
I'm
that?
not going to listen to your tone.
Why is that? Why am I not a sane person? Just actually defend it.
Listening to the hysterical sound in your
10,
voice.
7, 4, 5.
And excuse me. Wow. All right. Second time we had to use the dump button. Oh my goodness. You and I will never speak again either. And yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Joe. I'm from Florida.
Okay, Joe.
All right.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. I tell you, the calls are a double-edged sword. Sometimes you got great gems of interesting brilliance with thoughtful, insightful people, and then other times you got that. Now, let me explain something about how the show works, then we'll get back to the issues. Again, we do have people in this audience that are liberally impaired, okay? So every once in a while, I got to get out the fat pencils, the fat crayons, the chalkboard, and everything else. Okay. When we say that we take calls screenless and unvetted, that is true. However, many people who are liberally impaired seem to think what that means is that it's open phones, open mic day every day on the program, and when you call in, you can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Okay? That's not how it works. Anyone can call in once a day, but you got to talk about what we are talking about, okay? You know, we're not an answering service where we just call in and say, okay, the show's yours. The other thing is this. Anyone who attempts to dox me, stalk me, or threaten me, you are forbidden. I will never talk to you. Why would I be talking to people that are trying to dox me, stalk me, or threaten me? And anyone who does that, and even when you tell them about it, they're crazy people that we're hearing on the phones. But a lot of what's going on here with the toxicity that you're hearing from some of these people on the phones, it's because we are winning. And not only are we winning big time. In fact, we're winning at a level that no Republican has ever won before. And I want to end this hour with what I began with. And then after the top of the hour, there's a lot more on this that I'm going to cover. And if you're on hold, stand by. President Trump, at the top of the hour, I was talking about the incredible political brilliance of Donald Trump. That Donald Trump takes issues that everyone thinks are unpopular issues. He not only takes the position to take care of that issue that everyone thinks is unpopular, he takes action to do it. And when he does it, you find out it's incredibly popular. The two most recent examples, the deportations. President Trump has removed over 1.5 million illegals from the country, is being reported today. I think they said 1.6, but I'll say over 1.5 million. Shutting down the border was a popular thing by pretty much all measures. But deportations, everyone thought, even MAGA people thought that the deportations would be unpopular. And what we found out is they're incredibly popular. Washington, D.C. is always a federal city with a weak mayor and city council that answers to the federal government. However, the presidents haven't taken over the city for many, many years. President Trump federalizing the police force. Pam Bondi's now the police chief of the D.C. police. Okay. And sending the military into the streets with, I don't even know how many federal agents from every federal agency we have with guns, badges, and arrest powers. They even have the park police out there. We find out it is incredibly popular, not with the pundits, not with the never-Trumpers, but with the residents of D.C. And it's absolutely amazing. Now, I want to tell you guys right now, at mypillow.com. It is free shipping on all orders $100 or more with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Just go to mypillow.com, use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. Free shipping on all orders of $100 or more. And on top of that, you get the big discounts site-wide as well on all those popular products. So go to mypillow.com. Be sure to use our promo code KANE at checkout. Great time to start your Christmas shopping here in August, or just load up yourself. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. Free shipping on all orders of $100 or more. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're tuned in from. And after the top of the hour, there's more to add on what the president is doing, and there's a major thing that he's accomplished that the media don't want you to know about. We've got some updates on Schiff. There's been more information about the Obama coup conspiracy and a lot more. There's just been so much that's dropped. That's why I do a podcast in the afternoon, on top of the radio show in the morning. All right, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. Listen to this. This is amazing. Mexico to extradite 26 top cartel leaders to the United States in Trump administration deal. This is an amazing story. This is the story I'm telling you the media don't want you to know about. This is something that people have wanted done for decades. No one's done it but Donald Trump. Mexico is handing over 26 top cartel leaders to the United States this week in a deal with the Trump administration. The cartel figures were scheduled to fly to the U.S. on Tuesday. That's yesterday. This is the late. That's exactly right. This is Fox News I'm reading from. This is the latest example of the Trump administration's historic efforts to dismantle cartels and foreign terrorist organizations, says Attorney General Pam Bondi. These 26 men have all played a role in bringing violence and drugs to American shores. Under this Department of Justice, they will face severe consequences for their crimes against this country. We are grateful to President Sheinbaum, that's the president of Mexico. It doesn't sound like a Mexican name, but it is, and the Mexican government for their collaboration in this matter. We've got the leader of Abigail, I can't even pronounce all these names, the leader of the Los Cunas cartel, which is aligned with another cartel, Roberta Salazar, I can pronounce that, who's accused in the 2008 killing of an LA sheriff's deputy, is among those being handed over to the United States. The cartels in question have been classified as terrorist organizations. Mexico's Attorney General's and Security Ministry confirmed the men were being handed over, these 26 cartel leaders, to the United States. The deal, you know why this is happening? It's the two things that President Trump is doing. One, the tariffs, right? 25% tariffs on the Mexican goods. And President Trump has been talking about invading Mexico, taking out the cartels, which we may do. They may use these cartel prisoners to, and by the way, this article is in Fox News Channel, and it's on my X feed, Brian Craig Show on X, if you follow me on X. They may get all kinds of intel from these guys as to how the cartels operate and where they are operating from specifically, so that they can take them out as a whole. Wouldn't be surprised. But this is what people have been calling 26 top cartel leaders handed over to the Trump administration by the government of Mexico. That is amazing. All right, let's go to the phones again. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Randy from South Mississippi.
Randy, can you pick up the phone? The speaker, I can hardly hear you.
I do apologize. Hang on just. Hey, this is Randy from South Mississippi. Hey, real quick. If you close your eyes, the clip that you played of the D.C. Police chief, whatever.
Yep.
It's a scary reminder of what could have been if the greatest president in our lifetime wasn't elected, because she sounded like Kamala Harrison.
Yeah, Kamala Harris. Yeah.
Can you imagine what every city would have been like, and the crime and everything? We would have been a third world country within less than a year if that idiot would have got elected. Love your show, Brian. Go MAGA. Trump's number one.
That's right. Appreciate it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
I've been listening to your show for a long time, and I don't think I've ever heard so many liberals calling that mentally ill. These people, one after the other, man. I don't know there was that many people out there that weird, but man, apparently they are. This is, what's wrong with cleaning up Washington, D.C.? I mean, what's wrong with President Trump is doing everything great. I mean, besides just cleaning Washington, D.C., he's cleaning everything up. Even Chuck Schumer's not.
Oh yeah, not only is he. Hold on, sorry, I hit something by mistake. My apologies here. I can't get it to stop. It won't. Hold on. I got a piece of audio that won't stop. Give me a second.
There are new numbers as well.
Okay, sorry. It's live, guys.
Sure.
Every once in a while, we have to do something to prove to you that we're running things live. What's happened? There's a couple things that's happened. Okay, you talk about the lunatic liberals. A lot of it is because we're having so much success in the country with Donald Trump, but also the show has exploded in popularity, so there's a lot more listeners than ever, and that's part of it. I mean, and the thing is, everyone that has a popular show has lunatics in the audience. I just put myself in a position where I'm more accessible. It's easier to get me on the phone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if Hannity took screenless calls on his national show, you would find a similar thing.
Yeah,
it's just, you know what it's called? It's called the price of fame, Doug. The price of fame.
Yeah, I guess that's correct. But you would think that these people would be learning their lesson, like the UPS driver. There's a smart guy. He talks about exactly what's going on and how good it is. You think everybody would be saying the same thing? Wow, they cleaned up the city.
And UPS
No.
guy, UPS. Those are Teamsters. The Teamsters union are the UPS drivers. So you got a Teamster guy. Think about it. He's black. He lives in D.C. and he's a Teamster, and he's supporting what Trump's doing. That guy.
Of course, I could. Well, it's either right or wrong. And Trump is doing everything right. Everybody would be saying, "Oh, look what he did. He's beating people up." No, he's cleaning the place up, getting them out of there, so everybody can have a nice city. I mean, damn, it's the capital of the world, and it have the homeless people wrecking everything and drug dealers.
Well, what's happening is listen, the Republicans yesterday. Oh, let's not forget the Republicans did something beautiful yesterday in Texas. They passed the Texas State Senate passed the redistricting. They gained, what was it? Was it 5 or 6 Republican seats? Was it 6 or 5? And Jasmine Crockett no longer has a district. Jasmine Crockett's district no longer exists. And they created 5, I want to say 6. Do you remember, Doug? Was it 5 or 6 new Republican districts?
I think it's 5.
It might be 5. Yeah, it's 5 or 6. But Jasmine Crockett no longer has a district with this new map. And I believe that Texas did this to do just that. Make sure that Jasmine Crockett doesn't have a district. I think it's 5. Okay, 5. I'll settle with 5. That's 5 more than we had. But I think they did this just so that Jasmine Crockett didn't have a district.
Yeah, now try to get elected.
But look at what's happened here. But look what's happened. Other states, Ron DeSantis was on Fox last night about this. Other Republican states are going to do the same thing. South Carolina, they have a Democrat gerrymander district, and they're talking about redistricting now too to get rid of that Democrat gerrymander district in South Carolina. DeSantis is talking about it here in Florida, and what Trump and what the president is doing in D.C. This is right now. The Trump administration are putting a plan of action together when they're done with the crime in D.C. and restore safety and law and order and rid it of the terrorist thugs that are terrorizing the citizenry. They're going to move to other cities around the country. They're putting together a special team just to go from city to city and do this.
Yeah, man. It's amazing that it used to be that Democrats would do stuff like redistricting, and the Republicans would go, let it go. Now we're fighting back, fixing everything. The whole country is being fixed. We needed renovation, and it's all being done, man. What I would like to see, the final thing I'd like to say is I'd like to see Congress say funding for anything is supposed to be only for government use, not for nonprofits, not for giving NASA money to give to Chuck Schumer.
That's right. All right, Doug. Hey, listen, Doug, I appreciate the call. Doug's kind of out of things to say. If you're on hold, stand by. This is a story from a couple days ago, and it's from CNN that hates Trump, and they're talking about the latest polls and what people are interested in and not interested in. This is CNN, the Clinton News Network. They hate President Trump like the plague.
There are new numbers this morning showing something of a shift in how Americans are feeling about this. Harry Anton, here to help. What are you seeing in these numbers?
Yeah, I would say that this is, from at least a political point of view, quickly turning into a dud of a story. What am I talking about here?
Which is wild. This has been for 3 weeks.
Exactly. Now. Take a look here. Google searches for Epstein down 89% versus just 3 weeks ago. Falling through the floor. It is no longer the top term searched alongside Donald Trump's name. That's been
okay. So the Epstein attempt to get that narrative going failed. Google searches for the name Epstein are down 89% versus 3 weeks ago. So they tried to get that false narrative going against Trump. That didn't pick up any steam. This is CNN.
Trading off between tariffs and Vladimir Putin, with obviously the meeting coming up later this week. But at this particular point, the American people's interest in this story, it's quickly becoming something of a nothing burger.
So out of sight, out of mind, maybe, is applying here a little bit. But has it impacted, have you seen numbers that have impacted Trump's popularity, favorability, anything?
No, not really. I mean, take a look here. Let's take a look at the overall numbers. Trump's approval rating in July of 2025, it was 45%. It's still well within that margin of error here at 44%, and you compare that to where he was in his first term at this point.
Now, keep in mind, this is a poll including Democrats and Trump haters.
He was at 37%, so he's 7 points higher, very much in a different...
He's 7 points higher, even among Democrats, than he was at the same point in 2017.
Different political universe now, significantly higher in terms of his overall approval rating than he was at this point in his first term. And more than that, among Republicans, his approval rating is near a record high, hovering right at about that 90% mark. So no, he hasn't lost any.
90%. President Trump has a 90% approval rating. Hear that? CNN letting us know.
Of that base. And when it comes to that center of the electorate, he's basically holding on there, and his overall approval rating, 44%, is pretty gosh darn good for him considering where he was at this point in term number one.
What do you think is behind it? Why there hasn't been more movement?
Yeah, why hasn't there been more movement? I think this is pretty simple. Take a look here. Nation's top issue is the Epstein case. This is the number of respondents. This isn't the percentage of respondents. This is the number of respondents. In our last CNN poll, look at this. 0 respondents said that the Epstein case was the top issue. How about among independents? 0 independents said that. And among Republicans, and therefore overall, just a single one. So yes, there used to be a lot of interest in this story, but the bottom line is that even amongst those who had high interest in this story, it wasn't something that they thought was all that important. And as I said at the beginning, the interest in this story has fallen off the table.
Which also, when you look at this and you compare it to just the
Amazing.
attention that Capitol Hill was giving it, Donald Trump supporters were giving it, congressional committees were giving it, it is incongruous.
I would just say this. Donald Trump has some of the best political instincts of any politician I've seen. And on this particular issue, you see it full well and clear because he has been saying, you know, this is not an issue. And it turns out that a lot of the American public actually seem to agree with him.
Wow. So no one cares about the Epstein issue. And they worked so hard to get that going. Oh, man. And CNN says that among Republicans, President Trump is at a 90% approval, which is really the only votes that count in the poll. All right. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this. Oh, this is great. This is awesome. Absolutely, it's awesome. Now, listen, millions of seniors, and you may be one of them. Are you 65 years of age or older? Millions of seniors, just like in your age bracket, are on the wrong Medicare plan. That's right. It's costing you money probably, and costing you benefits. And Chapter, which serves all 50 U.S. states, can help you. Chapter, they make Medicare simple. You give them a call. You're going to get a real person on the phone. Call that number on the screen, 805-754-3033. It's also in the description of the video, 805-754-3033. You're going to get a live person on the phone. They're going to answer all your questions about Medicare absolutely free. There's no catches, no strings, absolutely free. The average Chapter client saves over $1,100 a year on their Medicare. It's amazing. Give them a call no matter what state you're in. They can help you. That's correct, yeah. And if you have the right plan and everything's right, they'll tell you that too, and you'll have peace of mind. So make sure you're not paying too much money, and make sure you have the right coverage and you're getting all the benefits you are entitled to. No matter what state you're in, call Chapter, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Yeah, you get a real person on the phone. Yeah, no matter what state you're calling in, and they'll have answers for you real quick. Boom, just like that. 805-754-3033. We'll be back in just over a minute. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You know, yesterday afternoon, those of you that watch me on YouTube, I was in my living room doing a live stream on YouTube. And I had 20,000 people watching. And my daughter was coming over. And it was late in the afternoon. My daughter was coming over. And if you were watching, the 20,000 of you that were watching me on that stream yesterday afternoon, all of a sudden I said, oh, my daughter's here. Okay, I'm going to end the stream now because my daughter's coming over. She moved back to Florida from California. Do you know how I knew my daughter was here while I was doing that live stream on YouTube? Doorbell camera. I could see her. I saw her car pull up in front of the house. I knew she was here before she even parked in the driveway. It's amazing. You can get a doorbell camera for free that connects directly to your cell phone from Slomin's with the installation of your Slomin Shield. They're really convenient and amazing. If I didn't have the camera, I wouldn't have known till she knocked, and then I wouldn't have known it was her. And that's right. Slomin's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, plus a backup battery, and you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. All right. So if you're on hold, hang in there. There's so much going on. Okay. John Solomon over at Just the News. There was another big news drop yesterday involving the lawfare prosecution of President Trump. Listen to this. Columbia University, this is in Just the News. Columbia University law professor Daniel Richman admitted to agents, FBI agents, in interviews he routinely communicated on behalf of Comey to the New York Times. Listen to this. The FBI concluded numerous legacy news media stories that crafted this is in Just the News. The FBI concluded numerous legacy news media stories that crafted the false Russia collusion narrative contained illegally leaked classified intelligence, but failed to definitively identify the leakers. But FBI agents did force a stunning admission that ex-FBI Director James Comey used a special conduit to the Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times in his bid to polish his image and push for a special prosecutor to take down President Donald Trump in his first term. Columbia University law professor Daniel Richman admitted to agents in interviews he routinely communicated on behalf of Comey, his longtime friend, with New York Times reporter Michael Schmidt, whose work was among the newspaper's 2018 Pulitzer-winning stories on Russian interference. The goal, Richman told the FBI, was to correct stories critical of Comey, the FBI, and to shape future press coverage outside of the Bureau's official press office, according to internal FBI memos that current Director Kash Patel delivered to Congress this week. I tell you, Just the News and John Solomon, I'm telling you, Woodward and Bernstein of this year, they're doing great. While Richman was known, I'm reading from the Just the News article right now. While Richman was known to have been publicly quoted in news stories as an advocate for Comey, he admitted to agents who were part of the FBI's Arctic Haze classified leaks inquiry that he was given access by Comey to what turned out to be highly classified information up to the SCI level. I'm not sure what SCI is. Is that secret? Does anybody know what SCI stands for? And sometimes provided information to reporters on an anonymous basis. Richman insisted he did not believe he had confirmed or provided classified intelligence to reporters, but said he could not be 100% sure, the memo states, noting he could only make his leak denial with a discount. Richman was pretty sure he did not confirm the classified information. However, Richman told the interviewing FBI agents he was sure with a discount, whatever that's a very weird term, that he did not tell Schmidt from the Times about the classified information FBI memo recounted. In the end, the Justice Department decided, the corrupt Justice Department decided not to pursue criminal charges against Comey or any of his lieutenants, or now Senator Adam Schiff, which we talked about yesterday, despite potential evidence of leaks, saying it could not be certain of who leaked what and when. but its interrogation of Richmond and his admissions of significant contact with the New York Times reporter Schmidt, who was one of those that won the Pulitzer, provided the most detailed account to date of how Trump critics like Comey, who was fired by the president, used the media to craft narratives that ultimately turned out to be untrue or misleadingly overstated, the memo show. And Just the News actually linked the FBI memos in question that have been declassified by Kash Patel. Schmidt from the New York Times did not immediately respond to a request for comment sent to him as a direct message on Twitter, X. Richmond did not immediately respond to a request for comment sent to him through his Columbia University email. Comey did not immediately respond either. No shocks there. Just the News also revealed this week that a career intelligence officer who worked for Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee for more than a decade repeatedly warned the FBI, beginning in 2017, that Schiff had approved leaking, which is what we covered yesterday. Now, this new one is Richmond. Comey, this is who Comey leaked through. He wanted to have a layer between him and the New York Times, so I guess he had some, in his mind, some deniability. The FBI leak investigation, codenamed Arctic Haze, revealed key details about Richmond, Comey's longtime friend, confidant, and media conduit, including what was at the time his nearly decade-long source relationship with Michael Schmidt of the New York Times. The leak investigation zeroed in on 4 news articles which contained leaked classified information. The first was a New York Times article by 4 reporters from late April 2017 titled, "Comey Tried to Shield the FBI from Politics. Then He Shaped an Election." The second was a Washington Post story from early April 2017 titled, "New Details Emerge About 2014 Russian Hack of the State Department." The third was another Washington Post piece from May 2017 titled, "How a Dubious Russian Document Influenced the FBI's Handling of the Clinton Probe." The fourth was a Wall Street Journal article titled, "The Trump-Russia Story Starts Making Sense." The April 2017 New York Times article by Schmidt quoted Richmond defending Comey. Jim sees his role, that's Jim Comey, as apolitical and independent, the FBI director, even as he reports to the Attorney General, often has to stand apart from his boss. Schmidt wrote that confidants like Richmond say he was constrained by circumstances while navigating blah, blah, blah. Let me skip through the details of the story. The FBI memos show the Arctic Haze investigation was opened by the FBI's Washington field office as a media leak investigation. So it goes into a lot of detail here, which I'm not going to get into too deep. But you can read the entire article. It's at Just the News. And it's also, I did tweet it. It's on my ex, Brian Craig Show. So yesterday, if you notice, see how everything's being leaked to John Solomon. Yesterday, we had the details with names, places, and everything on how Adam Schiff, who's facing a lot of time in prison, was illegally leaking. And now today, we've got all the details on how Comey was leaking. And everybody knew Comey was leaking. He was talked about as a leaker. Now we got the details on how he did it, who he did it with, and who he leaked to, and what he was leaking about. And even the articles are cited in the investigation. These people are going down. I think we can now say, since this was declassified by Kash, that these grand juries that Pam Bondi has, reportedly, according to John Solomon, in Fort Pierce, Florida, St. Lucie County, the most MAGA jury pool possible you could find in the United States, is that Adam Schiff and Comey, we're going to get indictments. We are going to get indictments on Schiff and Comey. And these are two of the most despicable of all of them. And that's a pretty good thing that's going down. Don't forget, if you go to mypillow.com, it is free shipping on all orders of $100 or more with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And remember, you also get the discounts on all the MyPillow products. So you get the savings on what you're buying, plus free shipping on all orders that equal $100 or more when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. This is from the Post Millennial, which is a very good conservative news outlet out of Canada. Listen to this. Trump and the Pentagon plan National Guard force for rapid deployment to fight civil unrest in American cities. This is amazing. The Trump administration this is a follow-up to what's going on in D.C., which is incredibly popular in the country, what they're doing. I mean, you know, I think we just got to talk about what's going on here. These are terrorists that Trump's taking down, and they're terrorizing people in these cities. The Trump administration is reportedly weighing plans to create what is being called a reaction force. I like that. A reaction force of National Guard troops that would be deployed to cities across the country during times of civil unrest. According to the Washington Post, which reviewed internal documents from the Pentagon, the Domestic Civil Disturbance Quick Reaction Force would see 600 troops placed on standby at all times so that they could be deployed to areas across the country in as little as an hour. This is amazing, guys. This is amazing. The troops would be split into 2 groups of 300 soldiers and would be stationed at bases in Arizona and Alabama. Let's see here. Cost projections included in the documents reportedly suggested that the proposal could cost upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars, but I think that's worth it to clean up the streets of crime. If military aircraft and air crews are also needed to be placed on standby. The documents noted, however, that transporting troops via commercial airlines would be cheaper. Okay, well, we're not really worried about the cost of that. The plan mirrors a similar one implemented in 2020. This is exactly what the country needs. We have been run by liberals in these blue cities that have allowed the people in these blue cities to be terrorized forever. And when they say that the crime stats are down, what they're saying is there's a certain level of crime that people need to accept from people that live in crime-free neighborhoods like I live in. Now, this is the second time I've seen reference to this organization in the national media, which has really been a secret organization. Listen to this. The Paid Protesters. This is in Fox, but it's also being reported in the Gateway Pundit. And this is something we've suspected. A crowd rental company, can you imagine? A crowd rental company has seen a massive uptick in inquiries regarding its services in Washington, D.C. amid President Donald Trump's move to federalize the police force in the nation's capital. Right now, D.C. inquiries to the paid rental crowd company are up 400%. The company sees a spike during political moments, they say. You know, this is just amazing to me because this is something that's been talked about for years. It's been suspected for years, but we never had it confirmed. And that is these protests. You've heard it referred to many times, these liberal protesters as paid protesters. We've heard that with every major incident, paid protesters. And they show up. You know, when I went to that, what was that one, that the No Kings thing? I went to that. I guess it was a month or two ago. They had a couple months back. They had it at Fort Lauderdale Beach was the local one. And if you saw my video, which I posted to X, I made a vlog where I interviewed these lunatics. I found the box of all this professionally made signs that were hidden that they were handing out to people. I went up to a guy, and what I did was really to try to find out if they were real or not, if they were real or Memorex. So I asked people to tell me about their signs that they were holding. And the first guy I went up to didn't even know what his sign said. He said, oh, they just gave me the sign and told me to stand here. It's on the video. Go watch the video. It's on my X. And I posted it right after. And so the paid protesters has kind of become, I don't want to say a talking point, but it's become something that we've said commonly, but we've never known for sure. And now we know for sure that when there's an event and liberal protesters show up, it's from this rental crowd company that specializes in it. And they show up and they get paid. Big article in Fox about it. It says here the Rent-A-Crowd company says they always see they have spokespeople. But if you notice in this article, they're not telling us the name. So that No Kings protest, those were paid protesters. All these things. The Democrats, these liberal lunatics have always been the minority. But their numbers and the interest in the support of their positions has been artificially inflated by these Rent-A-Crowd companies. They don't tell us the name of the company in this article, though. The company always sees a spike in requests during what they call high-stakes political moments. Oh, no, they got it. It's called Crowds on Demand. They got it right here. And they got the CEO, Crowds on Demand CEO, Adam Swart, told Fox News. The company always sees a spike in requests during what he calls high-stakes political moments. This company has come out of the closet. You know why? Because USAID is shut down and business is slow. So they're doing interviews, and this has been a secret company that the Democrats knew about. So all these BLM protests, Trayvon Martin protest, Million Mom protest, pro-abortion protest, it's all been from these rental companies. But the guy's doing interviews to get free publicity so people know to rent his mobs. A large share are focused on opposing Trump's policies in Washington, the calls that he's getting for rent-a-crowds, and raising alarms about government overreach, he said. We're weighing those offers carefully because while there's truth in saying D.C.'s local government has been a failure, blah, 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 but the main thing is he's got the company's name out there. Crowds on Demand. Have any of you heard of this company by name before the last couple of weeks? No. But since USAID is not there to constantly feed them business, he's out there doing interviews, getting the name of the company out, so that hopefully some people can hire them. That is insane. These are really crazy times we're in. You know, and you got to wonder, really, how many of these movements over the years have been because of these crowd rental companies that we've never seen identified before, that have been in secret. That's why a lot of times people go to these crowds and talk to them and they don't have any answers, they don't know anything. It's because they're just paid to be there and hold a sign. They're not there because they're upset or concerned about the issues that's there. Is there anything about the Democrats that's real? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi, Brian. My name is Tony. Thank you so much for taking the time for my call. I'm from Maryland, and I want to say thank you for everything you do.
There we go.
I listen every day, and you are great, and I don't know how you put up with all these awful calls, the people that call you. You are marvelous, you and Kathy. So I just want to say thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Now, I've been getting harassed and threatened and everything by people my whole life since I've been doing this. You know, I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, I've had people follow me and stalk me and hide in the bushes waiting for me and everything else. So it's just a part of it. But, you know, you just get to hear it sometimes on the phone. There was a guy that called once on the air that was with the switchboard. Remember that guy? You know, I mean, it's crazy, and it's always been that way. But that's why I say I always call the police and I always press charges. I mean, the threats, some of the things that happen over the year, you don't talk about them too much, but sometimes they come up because you hear these weirdos on the phones, and it's unfortunately, you know, it's like police officers and firefighters and soldiers. There's a risk that they assume by their great heroic, you know, professions. Not that what I'm doing is great or heroic, but the threats and the risks, sadly, are a part of it, and it shouldn't be that way. I don't enjoy it, and I don't think it's fun, and I'm not excusing it because it's god awful and it's bad, but it's frightening sometimes, and people like me have to take precautions. That's just the way it is. But this rental crowd,
I'm guessing that there have been companies like this forever. They probably started springing up after the Vietnam War, probably during the Reagan era, you know? And with USAID shut down, we're not seeing as much. And they may have to reduce their prices because they don't have that USAID government money coming to pay them anymore. But think about all these rent-a-crowd companies, like when we had the 2000 recount in Florida. I bet those were rent-a-crowds. Because you got to wonder, who shows up to these things? Most people are busy. They got to be at work. How do they show up to protest? That's right. Charlottesville, all that stuff. Paid rent-a-mobs. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Steve from L.A. How you doing?
All right, Steve. What's on your mind?
Just mainly just curious as to how you think this is all going to play out with, everyone just gerrymandering districts. Do you think that that's actually like going to solve all the problems that we have?
Well, with the Republicans, it's a good question you ask because you obviously don't have an understanding.
It's everyone's doing
Excuse
it. It's
me.
not just Republicans,
I'm trying to
it's not just
answer.
Democrats, it's
I'm
everyone.
trying to answer your question. Can you not wait to talk and listen to my response? Okay. What you're talking about in Texas, what they're doing with redistricting and how it's going to spread to other states. What they did in Texas is not gerrymandering. What they did in Texas was actually. Excuse me. I am answering your question. Let me finish. What they're doing in Texas is not gerrymandering. It's actually correcting gerrymandering that was done by the Democrats.
Define gerrymandering, Brian.
It's creating districts so that your party can get elected.
Okay, so they're doing that when it's not a redistricting year, right now.
Well, because
and then they're going to do it in California because they're doing it in Texas.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm talking, Brian.
No, excuse me. No, I'm speaking. Okay, get your own show, and then you can decide when people get interrupted, and when they speak, and when they don't speak. What they said in Texas, and this is what Governor DeSantis in Florida has said, and the president has said,
Brian,
and others.
I'm talking.
No. In fact, you're not talking, except to yourself right now. Thank you. Get your own lines, not mine. These districts not only were gerrymandered, they were based on false census reports that are being corrected with the new census we're going to have. I want to tell everyone about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Have you guys seen me lately online? Have you seen me lately on? Go to my Instagram. Brian Craig Show on Instagram. Go to my Instagram and look at the most recent photograph of me, which the most recent one I have up there I put up on Saturday. And then go back 3 to 6 months and look at the photographs I posted of myself from 3 to 6 months ago and compare it to the photograph I put up on Saturday on my Instagram. You will see an incredible difference. If you go back a few months, my face was round. Now I've got definitions. I've got my cheek back. I've got definition on my chin. I've got my jaw line back. I've got my neck back. My belly's flat. You know, I weigh what I did when I got married 29 years ago. This December will be my 29th wedding anniversary. You know, and I look great. I've lost a lot of weight. I feel great. I was able to cut back my coffee by 50% because I have more energy because I'm not carrying around all that weight. And I decided last week, I said, hey, it's so easy, Coastal Weight Loss. I want to lose a few more pounds. So I did that. So go to my Instagram, look at my most recent photograph. That was from Saturday afternoon. And then go back 3 to 6 months and compare my face. You'll see the difference. I've lost a ton of weight. You can do the same thing. And my results are typical. I lost about 1 pound a day without any exercise, eating foods I would normally eat, without any prescription medications or injections. And did I say without any exercise? That's right. Give them a call. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. I'm going to go over the Crowds on Demand website. I just pulled it up. I've not seen this before, so I'm going to go over the Crowds on Demand website when we get back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. We'll be back in about a minute. About a minute, guys. Stand by. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. I just pulled up this Rent-A-Crowd, Crowds on Demand website. I want to go through this. And, you know, if you remember, I'm so glad this guy was interviewed by Fox. The Crowds on Demand, business is down. When the Trump rallies in the first term and in the second campaign were going on, how many times did you hear people in the media, including Joy Behar on The View, but in the media say, oh, these are just paid people paid to show up to attend? And now we know why they said that, because the Democrats, that's what they do. So this is the guy that was interviewed on Fox from Crowds on Demand. Crowds on Demand, I just pulled up the website. Crowds on Demand is your home for impactful advocacy campaigns, demonstrations, PR stunts, crowds for hire, and corporate events. Services available nationwide. So they have different sections, okay? For if you need a crowd for an audience, an event, and fan displays. I guess like if you have a book signing, you know, you can have them come there and they can be, or if you have an event. I wonder how people do this. Because, you know, Steve and I guess our problem is we're just too honest and do everything organically. But Steve and I do appearances, and those of you who listen to us, you come and see us. You go on our cruises, you come to us at Wings Plus, and, you know, we sell out and fill up. But I see these people, they do these events. I'm like, how do they have so many people that show up for like a book event? Crowds on Demand. But they have another section. Okay, so the first section, audiences, if you need a crowd for an audience, like a movie, you know, like if you had an audience. my goodness. Maybe Joyce Kaufman can call Crowds on Demand, get an audience for rent. For events and fan displays. But they also have a section for protest. You can hire a crowd for protest, rallies, and advocacy. So let me click the section to rent a crowd for protest, rallies, and advocacy. Okay, here we go. They have people standing up with the Black Power fist. This is from Crowds on Demand, the website where they interviewed on Fox. Protest, rallies, and advocacy. Organize rallies and get media attention for your causes and candidates. We help organize, rally, and advocate for your cause. Whether your organization is lobbying to move forward with healthcare, financial, energy, or other social initiative, we can organize rallies and get media attention for your causes and candidates. We also assist individuals, companies, and political organizations with protest and picketing campaigns. We've protested governments, corporations, and everything in between. So when they realized, I got a sneeze coming on, guys, and it's not going to wait till the break. Hold on. Oh, I'm allergic to liberal BS, and I'm going through this website. It's making me sneeze. So this is why they were terrorized. Nancy Pelosi was panicked when conservatives were showing up at those town halls on healthcare back in 2010 because they knew they were they don't turn up real people ever. We've achieved results on campaigns on everything from ending institutionalized discrimination in a religious organization or getting refunds and compensations for hundreds of homeowners who bought hazardous lands from a real estate firm to forcing a patent trolling company to back down. We've gotten tough energy projects approved, from oil to natural gas to wind and solar. We are frequently called upon to address real estate issues that, while in many cases not heavily covered by the media, are relevant to stakeholders and depend heavily on public opinion. Some of those campaigns are long and drawn out. So you can hire this is nuts. Did any of you know this existed? We provide a cost-effective way to lobby government to pass or defeat legislation, push for approval of projects, and influence government in a grassroots, although fake manner. We're the ultimate guerrilla lobbying and government relations firm. Oh, they have a section on presidential public opinion. A foreign government hired Crowds on Demand to help generate a positive reception for its newly elected leader during a UN General Assembly. Oh, my goodness. Crowds on Demand was hired by non-union firms to push back against new regulations in a deeply labor-friendly state. Oh, my goodness. Crowds on Demand is your home for impactful advocacy campaigns, demonstrations, PR stunts, and corporate events. Services available nationwide. Coming to a liberal event near you. So all these liberal events we now know what we suspected is true. Paid protesters. Oh, my goodness. This is amazing to me. And they're so desperate for business with Doge shutting down USAID that they're coming out of hiding. You're not supposed to know about this. I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. If you've been in a car accident and you have pains from a car accident, the laser away pain treatment works with that. In fact, my first injury he rid me of pain from, my 30 years of suffering from knee pain, was from a car accident I was in over 30 years ago. But if you've been in a car accident, you really don't know until the day after or the day after how much pain you're in. Have you ever had that happen? I was in a really bad car accident a number of years ago in my first Mini Cooper, and I walked away from that accident on foot. I couldn't remember how old I was or my last name, but I wasn't in pain until the day after. And man, the day after was I in pain. And the laser away pain treatment treats all those pains that you're suffering after a car accident or another type of accident, like if you fall at home or out at a store or something. People fall all the time. The laser treatment works on that, as well as all the pains we talk about. With the laser away pain treatment, there's no shots, no injections, no medication. And those things, while they can make you a junkie, or if it's a non-prescription one, work a little bit, all they do is mask what's causing you the pain. What Dr. Appleton does with his laser wave pain treatment is repair the damage in your body that's causing you the pain. That's why when he has rid me of pain 7 times, the pains have not returned. Also, it's completely painless. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call. And we have had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. Now, just because appointments are not necessary doesn't mean you cannot make appointments. If you're coming from out of town, out of state, like so many have, you can make an appointment. Here's the number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. When we get back from the top of the hour, we'll get back to the phones. Our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening to us from. Steve Kane will be joining us, and I want to talk about, Steve wasn't here yesterday, so I want to update Steve on what's going on with Adam Schiff and Comey, who look like they're going to prison, the both of them. And also about the great work Judge Janine and the president are doing in the liberation of Washington, D.C. from the terrorist criminals there. So we've got a lot to cover. We will take your calls on this. And, what I was talking about at the top of the show at 6 was that President Trump is doing very big things that Republicans have wanted done but never have done. And now that they're putting together this action team of National Guardsmen to be deployed to American cities, they are planning on going, after they rid D.C. of crime, to other cities. And I would imagine the first would have to be Chicago. That's a very deadly place to live. And the residents of Chicago shouldn't have to live with these terrorist criminals terrorizing them in their neighborhoods all the time. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll be back after this. Hey, what's up? Okay, hold on. All right, Steve, we got about 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hold on. Oh, my goodness. All right. I got a lot of stuff here. So, did you have somewhere you wanted to go?
Something with a good hook.
There's all kinds of stuff. Okay. I'll just, okay. If you don't have anywhere specific, I got some places to go.
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. This is nuts. Okay. Stand by. Okay, we got about 30, 40 seconds. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a good one.
Who's me?
This is a good one from MSNBC. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, stand by. All right, hour number 3 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Steve Kane joining us. I just got a big update dropped here, Steve, and there's a lot of big news. Let me lead you up to it. Okay. Oh boy. The swamp is being drained at levels that no one imagined. Now, on yesterday's show, this is, oh boy, this is so beautiful. You still watching MSNBC?
I was going to ask you the same question.
Oh, this
yes,
one.
I watch it all the time.
MSNBC has a major connection to the Obama coup against President Trump. This is great. Okay, so yesterday, John Solomon from Just the News, he's the Woodward and Bernstein of the Obama-Russiagate coup against President Trump. The administration is leaking everything to John Solomon, and he was the one who first reported at Turning Point USA about a month ago. He said in about a week, there's going to be a bunch of declassified documents that come out that are being turned over to Congress and the Justice Department, and there will be grand juries for the big-time players going back for the 10 years of lawfare and coup against the president. A week later, it started happening, and he has been the one who's released everything. Yesterday, I went through a very detailed... They got Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff's going to prison, Steve. They've got multiple witnesses and whistleblowers of him leaking classified information to hurt Trump with the promise from Hillary Clinton that he would become the director of the CIA. That was yesterday. Earlier in the show, in the last hour, right before I was talking about the Democrat Rent-A-Crowd organization, which was insane. I mean, did you hear that, Steve, when I was talking about that? I've never heard of this thing.
Yeah. I was a little surprised that you were shocked by it. I mean, you don't watch enough MSNBC.
No. What I'm shocked about, we knew that they did it, but we never knew who. Now we got the company and everything. They're out of the closet. They've never been. It was always done, behind the curtain with. But anyway, right before that, I was talking about that. I was talking about John Solomon at Just the News. His newest bombshell, he dropped on Just the News yesterday afternoon and dropped on Hannity. And I went through the story, and it was about about how Comey was illegally leaking things to the New York Times, to a New York Times reporter by the name of Schmidt. And Comey had this old friend.
Why does that ring a bell?
You're probably thinking of Todd Schmidt, right?
Yes.
The no talent, radio guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that the same guy?
No, this is a writer for the New York Times. Michael Schmidt was the New York Times writer. He's one of the ones that was given a Pulitzer for the Russiagate coverage. And Comey, through his friend, Mr. Richmond, was leaking classified intel illegally to Michael Schmidt from the New York Times. And Michael Schmidt is one of those Pulitzer Prize Russiagate reporters, and it's hardcore criminal activity. Well, I tell you guys sometimes that you would be shocked and surprised how incestuous the DC media are and how all these people are related. This was just posted a couple of hours ago, and I just came across this on X. You know Nicole Wallace, Steve, from MSNBC?
Yes.
Okay. Nicole Wallace is one of what Rush Limbaugh referred to as an anchorette. She's one of the anchorettes on MSDNC, or I like to call it MS-13BC. She was a senior advisor to John McCain when he was running for president as well. She says she's a Republican in exile. She says she'll return to the Republican Party when Donald Trump is no longer the leader of it. She's okay. So, and if you've seen her on television this week, Nicole Wallace has been in a state of panic on the air. And you know what it's like, Steve. You and I have been through this. You have things going on in your personal life. And sometimes you got, all of us, we have bad things going on in our life. Things happen.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, people die sometimes. There's tragedy in the family. One of your kids is having a problem. Someone's in the hospital. But the show must go on, and we go on the air. And sometimes when those shows happen, you guys can't tell this. There was something that was going on in my life last week, and it was not good. And I had to go on. I found out about something that was going on that wasn't good, and unfortunately, right before airtime, I did the show, and I don't know how I got through the show. You guys didn't know I had any problems, but I don't even remember the show. And afterwards, I went back on YouTube and looked at it, and I couldn't even tell that there was this tragedy going on behind the scenes in my life. And that's just the way it is. You know, you're on the air, and you gotta do what you gotta do. However, Nicole Wallace this week has looked very unwell. She just hasn't looked well. And listen to this, Steve. I just saw this on X. Somebody posted this, and I retweeted it. No wonder Nicole Wallace was looking totally miserable when she had to report on the news of the Russia hoax conspiracy grand jury. Her husband, Michael Schmidt, he's the New York Times reporter in Russiagate, was receiving classified information from Comey. So in the new leak, in the new drop from John Sullivan about the conspiracy, Nicole Wallace's husband was the guy getting the information from Comey illegally to put in the New York Times. I mean, my goodness. And obviously she loves her husband because she's concerned about him getting wrapped up in this, okay? If they had a rotten marriage, she wouldn't look so upset. And she's reporting on all of this. Is it nuts? Nuts. You know, I mean, my goodness. So she is up to her eyeballs, and she has been one of the big ones, Steve, on the Russiagate conspiracy stuff against Trump for years on the air, and she is. Her husband's connected to it. Listen to this. Peter Strzok was also leaking information, it looks like, to her husband. So I mean, this is really we got to watch Nicole Wallace today. She's on in the afternoon. You know, I haven't been watching Nicole Wallace. I don't watch MSNBC, but now that we've got this Obama coup against President Trump going on, conspiracy, now we got something that we want to see. I mean, should she be on the air reporting on this? Shouldn't she have to recuse herself, Steve, if her husband's involved in the Comey classified leaks? I don't see how she could be. It seems to me that can't they find something else for her to cover?
Well, I mean, at this point, what they would tell you in their defense is that basically they're just charges at this point. So, you know, they're not going to fire her off the charges.
Steve, I mean, would you have O.J. Simpson's girl? You can't say his wife because he killed his wife. But would you have O.J. Simpson's girlfriend reporting on NBC News about the allegations against him during the trial? I don't think so. There seems to be she's got too close of a connection. This is nuts. You know, and I wonder how many other people in the mainstream fake news media have connections like this.
The answer is all of them.
Well, this one's a pretty close one. I don't even know if that is considered a level of removal. Like, you're not responsible for what your friends do, but with spouses, they know everything that's going on. So she had to know that her husband was working with Comey. I am just blown away by this. I'm going to put you on hold, Steve. We're going to take our first break of the hour. If you'd like to call in, I'd love to hear your comments on this. Our number, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. We'll be right back. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Great. We got about 90 seconds until we go, so I'm going to put you on hold. I'll be back with you shortly. Hold on. All right, Steve, you there?
I am.
Yeah, we got about a minute left. Then we have Barry.
Okay.
All right, so hold on. I'm going to conference him in just a minute. Oh my goodness, that's a big story. That's just breaking.
It's all part of the same big picture.
Yeah, that's why she looks so panicked on television. I noticed she seemed off. You know, she seemed off.
All part of the collapse of the left.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. I'm going to conference Barry in. All right, Barry, we have about 20 seconds.
Okay.
Well, I had to clear our throat. Okay, let's go. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane is here. And Steve, we have on the line your attorney, Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning.
Good Mr.
morning.
Siegel, how are you?
I'm terrific. Good to hear your voice, Steve. How's everything?
Everything is great. Everything is beautiful.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Today I was going to talk to you guys about, well, first of all, we had our Medicaid seminar yesterday at our office. Went very well, and we had a lot of people that we got even some good Google reviews from people who showed up and felt they got a lot of good information.
Absolutely.
And then tomorrow in the afternoon at 2 p.m. we have our Living Trust seminar at Spanish River Library in Boca Raton. So I think there might be a little bit of room left. If anybody's interested, they can either call our office or go online to our website, SiegelLawGroup.com, and hit the events page or upcoming events, and it will give you let you know what the upcoming seminars are and allow you to register there as well. And really, the information given at both of these can make a huge impact on your future and the future of generations, upcoming generations in your family. And so, it's really important, and the information you get can make a huge difference. So we encourage people to, even if you're planning to come to a seminar and learn everything you need to learn in advance. We also have the option of just coming straight in for a direct free in-office station. But I certainly encourage people to come to the seminars, even if they already know that they want to come in for a consultation, just because you're going to learn a lot, and and some of the things that you learn, I'm confident that a lot of the things that people will learn are things that they don't know, and little things that can make a huge difference to somebody's future and their family's future. So
absolutely,
that's what I had to talk to you about today.
And Attorney Barry Siegel, I've been to, I can't even remember how many of your seminars and workshops I've been to, and they're very, I know this might sound odd to people, but workshops and seminars about revocable living trust and Medicaid planning are interesting. They're really fascinating when you realize, and I think people, they get a lot of value, Barry, out of them. And I'll just tell you a couple of things. One, with both the Medicaid planning and the revocable living trust workshops, people get to see in detail how what you do for them and how it covers every possible eventuality that any individual or a family could encounter, and how they're tailored individually as well for the person. That I think that's important. But another thing I think that people get out of it, Barry, is they get to meet you and your staff of attorneys and paralegals and everyone else, and they get to meet the people that are helping them with these important decisions in their life. And I think that builds a lot of value, seeing how detailed all this work is and getting to know you and your staff. And so it's worth going just for that. I agree with everything you just said. And really, what could be more exciting than going to a living trust or Medicaid planning workshop? Absolutely.
Seriously.
They are interesting. I know it sounds nuts. And I've probably been to about 20 or 30 of them over the years. And they are interesting. They really are. And you do take some questions at the end. So so if you have concerns and everything else, listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. I'm not kidding. They are interesting. It's a toll-free number, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we will talk later in the week.
All right, talk to you guys later. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, so let's hold on, Steve. I'm losing everybody here. Oh, I lost. Okay, let me take a call here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Steve. Good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie.
Good morning. I don't know if you caught what John Solomon said to Hannity about what he's going to break today. He says to Hannity, you are going to be shocked at the extent that the FBI blocked the investigation of the Hillary Clinton Foundation, well, the Clinton Foundation on a whole. They blocked it. And he says, I got all the information. So he says, wait till this afternoon. It's going to be incredible. So they were blocking the Hillary Clinton Foundation crap. You know what, with the...
Richie, I'm sorry. Full disclosure, I just got a text message from somebody and I was reading the text and I missed what you said. I could fake it. I could sit here and fake it, but I'm giving you the respect. So can you start? What's John Solomon gonna drop tonight?
John Solomon said, wait till tomorrow afternoon. He says you're gonna find out and you're gonna be shocked. The extent that the FBI blocked any kind of Hillary Clinton Clinton Foundation, They blocked any investigation. They put roadblocks in front so nobody would see.
There's a couple things about the Clinton Foundation. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad with Bryan Cranston?
No.
Oh, you're the only one in America that didn't. But he was getting all this.
It was filmed here.
It was filmed in Arizona. Breaking Bad. You should watch it from episode 1. Yeah, watch it. Spend the weekend and watch every episode. Okay. But he was making all this money from his drug business, so he literally bought a car wash to launder the money. It was, in later seasons. The Clinton Foundation, it was a money laundering operation, the Clinton Foundation. When the Clintons first left office, they formed the Clinton Foundation. She became Secretary of State pretty soon after, but a little while after. But they were doing these speeches, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And everybody used to say, I remember Rush would talk about this for hours. What is Bill Clinton saying that's worth $200,000 in 20 minutes? And now we know it was a lot. They would do these speeches, get paid boatloads of money, but they were really Senator Clinton, then Secretary Clinton, were doing favors for them. It was a money laundering operation to pay off Hillary, to do and remember she gave the uranium to the Russians, right? So these are the types of things that would come out of that.
Yeah, I want. Can I bring up something you started your show with President Trump cleaning up Washington D.C.?
Okay.
Okay. You brought up Jim Crow, and Steve and I grew up through the Jim Crow time. It was a terrible thing for blacks, and the civil rights leaders of yesterday who set the groundwork for the freedom for everybody. They were heroes, but what you got today up there are basically pimp hustlers.
That's right.
Race hustlers.
That's correct.
I mean, these people, they are not civil rights leaders.
Well, now we're finding out they're not even real. They're rent-a-crowd. Hey, Richie, I appreciate the call. Yeah, what we're finding out now is that they're rent-a-crowds. But I got to tell you something. If you're on hold, stand by. This story with Nicole Wallace is a big deal. And... Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, we got Steve back. This story...
I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, you can hear me now, Steve, can't you? This story...
I can't hear.
Okay, hold on. Let me try again. Hold on. All right, we got you back now, Steve?
Sort of, yes.
Okay, all right. We'll fix it all during the break, but let's just go with the flow during the segment here. This story with Nicole Wallace is huge, okay? Her husband not only was covering the Russiagate with that team that got the Pulitzers and everything, he was
I have a little different perspective.
Okay. All right.
It's actually not that different. But the bottom line is it all boils down to something that's going on now that has never been going on before this, and that is the collapse of the left, largely financially. You talk about those rent-a-car things. See, I try to tell people, I try to tell you all the time, and I try to tell other people, you got to not just watch Fox. I watch a ton of Fox, but I also watch a lot of MSNBC too.
Yeah.
And for the longest time there, especially Monday nights when Rachel Maddow is on, and there were all these rent-a-mobs. Now there used to be big crowds because they had a ton of money to all the dirty money that
USAID
they collected on the left, and now they don't have it anymore. So they have demonstrations on Monday night. I watch when Rachel's on, and there's nobody there. 12 people doesn't make a demonstration.
And Steve, that's why the owner of the company for the first time has revealed himself and come out, because he's trying to get people to know about him to drum up some business.
They're desperate.
Yeah, they're desperate.
Basically, what they are is out of business.
Because USAID got shut down. And the USAID was paying, and I know we've always said, all of us have always said these are paid protesters. But what's different, Steve, now we know it for a fact. We have the company has come out of the closet and says, yes, we've been doing this.
They can't cover it up. That's it. They don't have enough people.
Yeah. So it's a big story. And this story with Nicole Wallace's husband, Steve, Nicole Wallace's husband has been the go-to guy for Comey to leak all the info. And I'm curious. I'm going to go back after the show. I'm going to go through and see if he was the guy that was getting the info from Schiff. I don't remember when I was going through that. But he was the go-to guy at the New York Times for Comey to leak the illegal classified intel to bring down Trump was Nicole Wallace's husband. And she's been on the air trashing him for years, working in coordination with her lowlife husband. This is a pretty big deal. This is, as an example, Steve, with Woodward and Bernstein now, we now know Woodward and Bernstein were not investigative reporters. That whole thing in the book and the movie was fake. Bob Woodward was deep state. He was with Naval Intelligence, and he was given all that information by Mark Felt, who was Deep Throat at the FBI. Okay, they did no investigative reporting. That's all a legend. Well, that's what's been going on at the New York Times with Comey and Schiff and MSNBC. But now we don't have to wait for people to die and find out 50 years later. We're finding out in real time as it's happening. And that is amazing. I mean, what would have happened, Steve, if during Watergate, Deep Throat was unmasked and identified, right, as Mark Felt, who was the deputy director of the FBI, right? It would have changed everything. Nixon probably would not have resigned because people would have seen what was really going on. That's what's going on now with Nicole Wallace, with Adam Schiff, and all of them. And I'm telling you, Steve, we got to take.
They're pretty much all involved in it.
But yes, but now we have the documents, we have whistleblowers, we have witnesses, and we got them.
Yes.
We got them.
Bottom line.
And
the whole, to reduce it to a headline, the wheels have come off.
That's right.
And they're exposed for what they are.
We're going
to. And it's so much fun watching it on television. And I beg you people who haven't yet discovered MSNBC, you don't need a lot of it, but you should watch at least 45 minutes a day or a night. The talk shows are especially good at night. I love Rachel Maddow. And you really get a great picture of how destroyed the left really has become.
All right, Steve, I'm going to put you and everyone else on hold. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. After the bottom of the hour, we'll come back with your calls. Don't go anywhere. All right, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we got you. Okay, I'm sorry. When I let Barry go, I disconnected you by mistake. I hit the wrong button. Oh, man. Nicole Wallace's husband's going to have to give his Pulitzer Prize back.
I doubt it.
Listen to this. This is his bio. This is her husband. He's an American journalist, author, and correspondent for the New York Times, Washington, D.C., covering national security and law enforcement. He's also a national security contributor for MSNBC. He won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for his work. Let's see. Oh. His first Pulitzer was for breaking news that Trump had asked. Oh, I got to read this to you when we get back. Let me read this to you. Her husband and her are freaking out. Okay, hold on. We got about a minute. A little over a minute. Oh, my goodness. You see, you don't know these people are all related because, you know. They have different last names, all of them.
They're inbred.
Yeah, they get married and they keep their old name. So you don't know they're married or brothers or sisters or brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who was the guy who used to do the late election night shows, the election results on, what station was it?
I don't know who you're talking about.
CNN?
I don't know who you're talking about.
It was another famous husband and wife team.
Yeah. Carville and Matlin. Wasn't her name Matlin?
That's all true. But everybody knew about that.
Oh yeah. Dana Bash and I forgot her husband's name. That's on CNN. Yeah, okay, we're coming back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. Okay, so Nicole Wallace's husband has been part of the Obama coup conspiracy as the point man and writer at the New York Times that Comey leaked all the classified info to illegally. Okay, so I looked up her. Now this is why she's panicked on TV. This is her husband, Michael Schmidt, and Steve and I were talking during the break. All these people, they have different last names, so you don't know they're married or brothers or brother-in-laws and stuff. Listen, okay, so this is her husband, Michael Schmidt. This is his Wikipedia bio. He's an American journalist, author, and correspondent for the New York Times and a national security contributor for MSNBC. Yeah, and he's won 2 Pulitzer Prizes. One of the Pulitzer Prizes was awarded for breaking the news that President Trump had asked FBI Director James Comey for a loyalty pledge. That story led to the Justice Department appointment of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. So Nicole Wallace from MSNBC, who used to work for John McCain, her husband, Michael Schmidt, is responsible for Mueller getting appointed through this illegal classified intel leak from Comey. Let's see here. His second Pulitzer Prize, Steve, was for his story about sexual harassment allegations against Bill O'Reilly. Oh, my goodness. I mean, this guy, her husband is a beaut. Give me a break. And remember what he did? He hit on some girl. You know, they're freaking out. Oh, this is great. All right, let's take some calls. This is exciting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian. It's a great day, man.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you? Boy, I'm telling you what, the news doesn't slow down, does it?
No.
Now, we definitely have a conflict of interest here. Could we be looking at somebody being a co-conspirator in all this?
Well, I'm wondering.
I don't know what was going on.
I'm wondering if any leaked information made it to her to put out on MSNBC. And what I've really been wondering about is Rachel Maddow, because she was like the point person on all this stuff. What was Rachel Maddow's role?
She was one of the top hired hands.
Well, was she getting classified intel from these?
Well, this is what you do. We have a little co-conspiracy going on MSNBC and CNN, and it's now going to be made public.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Everybody suspected, but
this is a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's huge.
Absolutely.
Brian, the way I described it to Steve, it's as if. What year did Nixon resign? Was it 74 that Nixon resigned?
It was right 73, 74,
okay.
I think.
What would have happened in 73 if we found out that Deep Throat was Mark Felt, the FBI deputy director, and that Bob Woodward really worked for Naval Intelligence, not the Washington Post? It would have changed everything. And that's what we found out here.
Would have changed history.
Exactly.
Changed everything, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. This is so... I can't tell you. This is like food. This is like an energy drink. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? And John Solomon bringing the story forward in this is going to be sensational, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And the beautiful part is watching them take each other down on the inside on the Democratic establishment.
Oh,
it's beautiful. They're all going to sell each other out. They're all going to stab each other in the back. They're going to try and cut a deal like Shifty Shift in that. But I'm
no
wondering if
deals.
she's not
We don't
gonna
need deals. We don't need deals. We got everything.
We got everything. But I wonder if she's not going to be a co-conspirator, and maybe some other people might be mentioned that are on that station too.
I don't know.
About the information they've been putting out to the American people.
Let me tell
and they
you,
knew
she's nasty.
Yeah.
She's a nasty person. She's very smug, very arrogant. She always looks miserable.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
She talks down to MAGA people.
Well, she kind of looks like the hammer's about to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is. And this is I got to tell you, taking down USAID, what a brilliant tactical move that was. That really sent them reeling. A little surprised they didn't have like a backup plan to wash the money and move the money around. But when they took that down, look out. That's when this really started to cave in.
Right.
And John Solomon doing this brilliant.
John Solomon is he deserves Pulitzers. All right, appreciate the call. Oh man, Steve. Before we take another call, can we talk about neuropathy for a minute? Do you mind? When
one of my favorite topics.
Well, it is now that you don't have all that discomfort and pain and suffering anymore. But when you had before Lighthouse Medical rid you of your neuropathy suffering 3 years ago, what was it like having all that?
It was life-changing.
Well, before
life-changing.
When you had
neuropathy is basically it's a disease that incapacitates you, not just the pain and the discomfort and the numbness, but it also costs you your balance, and you lose your balance. You fall a lot. You hear a lot about that with neuropathy.
Yeah.
And I was basically incapacitated.
And homebound and bedbound.
Like good as new.
You were pretty much bedbound for a while. And I remember, Steve, when I was a kid in the 70s, when I was a little kid, my great-grandmother was alive. And she used to fall down all the time. And she was always breaking a pelvis and breaking this and breaking that. I bet you she had neuropathy. I bet you older people, I don't say old people anymore because I'm getting older. I bet
you. They tell you there's no cure for it, but I'll tell you, at Lighthouse Medical, they sure fixed me up fast.
So I bet you a lot of old people, Steve, think that, they fall a lot or they're dizzy. They have neuropathy and don't even know it. And
that's exactly right. Well, give them the number. Let them call over there and make an appointment. It's no charge when you tell them Steve Kane sent you.
That's right.
So they're nice folks over there, too.
Mm-hmm.
They really know what they're doing.
754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, back to the phones. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ryan.
Caller.
Hey, IB.
Hey, IB. What's up?
Steve.
Hey, IB.
You never did mention the name of your new dog. Perhaps we'll talk about it on Friday. Brian, listen, audience. Brian always has mentioned to you guys about breaking out the swastika flags that had creases in it because we know that they are new, because we don't know what the company's campaign is going to be, who's going to be the customer to say, hey, you guys go over there and protest this. And there's always someone on the scene to make sure they do what they were paid to do.
Well, it's not just, you're right, but it's not just a couple of individuals. There's always been a huge crowd, a large number, and a lot of money to pay them. Now they're out of money and they're out of crowds.
They were on the payroll through the NGOs. So the NGOs is dried up. Like we said, good job to Elon Musk. He doesn't get props. And as for that lady in D.C., okay, Brian, what she was talking about with the tree, she's like the dunce in the corner. They have the dunce hat on, and she felt stupid. And her retort was that, oh, I'm just a tree.
No, those were different events. No, they were different events. That was a long time ago, the tree thing. That wasn't yesterday. Yesterday was just, appreciate the call. Did you see that, Steve, with the D.C. police chief? She didn't know what the chain of command was?
Yes, that was great.
I mean, what the heck? I mean, how dumb can you be? That's a common American term. I mean, everybody knows that.
Geniuses over there.
Yeah, all right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Bob from Jupiter. Hey, real quick, I'm in the medical field. Just a side note.
neuropathy, yes, that's where a lot of hip fractures are in the older population, definitely. That's what I did for a living for many, many years.
See, there you go.
Okay,
we're right.
So going on, I want to go with this real quickly. This, having worked in D.C. and having worked on K Street, this is what happens. This group, they use them as farm animals. They're like this drug-dependent schizophrenics. They're in the parks, and they're in this crowd. Marion Barry started this years ago. Remember him, the mayor of D.C.?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jesse Jackson tapped into this. It's a large group, mostly minority group. I would say 90%. They're drug-dependent. Schizophrenics. I used to watch it. They go in there and they give them $10 back in the day. They give them $10.
But there's not as many of them as there used to be.
Yeah, but see, they turned it into an industry, and now they're going out of business. Let me ask you. You bring up Marion Barry, who was the mayor who was caught smoking crack with a hooker when he was mayor on videotape. Who do you think was a better mayor for D.C.? Marion Barry or Mayor Bowser?
Marion Barry, because he can make deals.
That's right. Marion Barry on crack was a better mayor than Bowser. Exactly. I agree with that.
Much better, because he made deals. He knew how to make deals. But this is the thing. They use these people in captivity like farm animals, and whenever there's anything they need them for, they give them a few bucks, they clean them up a little bit, they give them a jersey, they give them a hat or whatever, a sign, and they can have an army of people ready to go. Very cheap.
That's accurate.
They've kept these people like in a pen for years and years and years. It's been going on forever.
Well, now because USAID, I appreciate the call. With USAID shut down, they don't have the resources to pay for the crowds anymore. And you got to wonder.
Well, the chronology of it is they ran out of money, which is why it shut down.
Yeah. So,
basically, everybody was on the payroll.
So you got to wonder, how far back has this been going on? How many things have these rent-a-crowds accomplished over the years? All right, let's go to some more calls. Oh, you're on the air. What's your name? Oh, no, not that one. All right, hold on. Okay, you back with us, Steve?
I am.
Okay, I just looked at the clock, and we got to take our break for the Gold Report. So if you're on hold, stand by. It's Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. Oh. Okay. Hang in there, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. All right, Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we got about 20 seconds. I want to conference William in. Hold on. All right, well, we've got about 20 seconds, and we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. It's the Steve Kane Show, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals looking pretty good, actually. Moving back up from their lows after correcting a little bit this week. We've seen them recovering rate again. Trading in the same range as we've been in for most of all the summer. So gold trading overnight yesterday trading in a range of $3,330 all the way up to $3,358, closing out the day at $3,346.90 the ounce. That was up $5.20. Silver was up 31 cents, closing out the day at $37.85 the ounce. Platinum gained $12, closing at $13.38, and palladium was down $20 at $1,125. Overnight, we see gold trading in the range of $33.41 all the way up to $33.67, and right now gold's up $11.10 at $3,358 the ounce. Silver up 65 cents at $38.50 the ounce. Platinum down $3 at $13.35, and palladium down $5 at $1,120. So the markets are still, the gold and silver market are still the ones that are leading the race to higher numbers, and that's the places where you want to be. Although we have said that palladium looked like a very attractive buy down at these levels, and as well as platinum, but palladium certainly is very reasonably priced right now.
And those of you about the palladium, I would tell you this is one of the few times over the years I've heard you say that about palladium, because you're always hold palladium. Now you're talking about buying. So if William Youngman's talking about buying palladium, it's the time, okay? Because that doesn't come around often. Also, with the gold, how is it looking with the pre-33? Last week you were telling me there were some good deals on pre-33 gold. How's that looking this week?
Pre-33 gold is still on sale like we've never seen before. The premiums are practically none, and you can buy beautiful old $20 gold pieces and Eagles $10 gold pieces of the United States that were issued, the last ones being issued in 1932. And these are available at practically no premium over gold. So this is a great opportunity for people who have never owned some of our oldest real money, which is gold coins, to acquire some of these for your portfolio and collection.
Yeah, and with that, you're getting more gold for your money. So that's pretty cool. All right, so give William Youngman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010, or stop by. His shop is at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his phone number and address online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, we are back. So things are going perfect, Steve. I mean, there's no area where we're not winning. And I was talking before you got here, the White House is putting together a special action team of National Guardsmen to deploy to other cities to fight crime when they're done in D.C.
That's part of the big picture. That's the big picture. Trump is, it's obvious to me, I've talked about this on the air before, I'm the one who made the massive bet that Trump was going to run for a third term, and this is all part of it. What he's going to do, he's going to first clean up Washington, D.C., it's going to be such an incredible success that even the liberals can't deny it. And then he's going to say, what I did for Washington, I can do for Los Angeles, and I can do for Seattle and all the other hellholes that used to be beautiful cities that are now rotting and decaying under Democratic leadership.
Yeah, and what's going to happen, the people around the country in these other cities are going to demand it. They're going to demand it.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I mean,
that's the nice thing. He's got this great. That's the other amazing thing. Not only does he do everything and get things done, but he's got a communications network that every day has basically a press conference to explain it all and lay it all out.
Yeah.
In his terms.
Exactly.
And probably the greatest press secretary I've ever seen.
And she's only 27? Has she turned 28 yet?
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I mean, my goodness, she's pretty smart. She's going to have a future in government. She may go to TV when she leaves that job, because a lot of them do, but
I'm sure she's headed to the stars. There's no question of that.
She doesn't have to do the TV to make money. Her husband's a billionaire.
Yeah, I know.
So she's probably going to end up in public office. I see her in the Senate, a governor, something. She's very smart beyond her years. And she handles these.
She absolutely has all the tools.
Yeah, and these reporters she's dealing with, these are top tier people with their liberal crap. I have not seen them once be able to get to her. She's got a way of.
They're very nice to her, by the way. You'll notice.
Why do you think that is? White privilege? I don't know.
I think they understand that she's a special person, and they treat her with respect. And they were also starting to treat Trump with respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this crime
Never
thing,
thought I'd see that day.
And then there's two other big things this week. This one hasn't gotten a lot of publicity. Yesterday, Mexico, and it's still in process, they've handed over to the United States, to President Trump, 26 top drug cartel leaders from Mexico. The Mexican government has handed over to us 26 top cartel leaders. That's big. Because they're, and what they're going to do with these guys is get information. When you get the head of the cartel, it slows business down a little bit. There's no doubt. But they don't have the money coming in to pay off everybody because the border's shut down. But they'll extract intel from these guys on how the cartels operate and where they're located and take them out more. And then Friday, we've got the Alaska summit with Trump and Putin. I mean, this is just, I can hardly keep up with the news.
It's nonstop. We're tired of winning.
No, I'm not. This is awesome. And, the thing about the Russian summit in Alaska, when Trump had his press conference the other day, one of these snarky reporters says, President Trump said, I'll be able to tell in the first 2 minutes if he means business. And this reporter asked the question, how do you know in 2 minutes? He says, it's because what I do. I make deals. And then he took
That's what I do.
It's what I do. I mean, my goodness. I mean, that when I saw President Trump say that to that reporter, I was like, oh my goodness. All right, let's take, if you want to get in here at the end, 888-465-2630. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Mark from Boca.
Hey, Mark.
I don't know if you heard this last night, but, with Trump taking over the D.C. Police Department with Pam Bondi, they have access to all the emails, and that goes back to January 6th.
Oh, really?
That could be big.
Oh. You know what? I've been seeing, that'd be interesting. I've been seeing the federal agents in D.C. They're going door to door and arresting people because they have access. They got all the warrants that haven't been served, so they know where the bad guys are. So they're going around and picking up people that have open warrants. And in D.C., these people have warrants and they have no fear of ever being picked up. I appreciate the call. And Steve, I watched the press. Did you see the press conference with the dumb police chief that didn't know what chain of command meant?
Yes.
Okay. That press conference had her, Mayor Bowser, and there was a third woman who I don't know who she is. Is she the city manager? Is she a councilwoman? Is she the deputy mayor? Does anyone know who she is? But the crime in D.C. this has got to be the worst it's ever been. And it's being run by 3 women. And it's been run into the ground. And I remember... See,
and they've cooked the books.
That's right. They fired the guy who was doing the stats that the press keeps citing. But
I think he's on leave.
He fired. Judge Janine, she was asked about this yesterday. Well, the crime's down. She says, what does that mean? There should be no crime. So people have to accept, well, your wife got raped and you got murdered, but the stats are down. So it's not that bad, even though you're dead and your wife's been raped. I mean, they're saying that there's a certain level of death and destruction and crime that it's okay to suffer from. It's such a stupid argument that the press are making, But I lost track of what I was saying. Oh yeah, about the women. We had a guy who was the acting sheriff for a while when one of the Broward sheriffs was removed from office. Remember Al Lamberti? And Al Lamberti, he was the Broward County sheriff for a while.
Yeah, of course.
And we had him in studio, and we were taking live calls with the sheriff of Broward County, and a woman called up, a black woman from Pompano. And she said, Sheriff, when are you going to have your deputies leave our boys alone over here? They're harassing our youth all the time. And Sheriff Lamberti says, they may be youthful, but they're criminals. We're not harassing people in the community. We're arresting criminals. So, remember that call?
I remember that.
Couldn't believe that. You would have think it was a crank call. She was serious as a heart attack. Well, I see these 3 black women who were running D.C. and turning it into a crime city yesterday at the press conference. And you got to wonder, do they relate to these criminals? Are they sympathetic to the criminals? And I would say you'd have to say yes to that. they've been letting them run free. Now, I want to tell people about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I was telling people, Steve, go, you guys out there, go to my Instagram page. I put up a new picture of me from Saturday. Look at the photograph of me from Saturday and then go through my Instagram 3 to 6 months ago and look at me 6 months ago and then pull up the photograph of me from Saturday again. You will see a dramatic difference, okay? I've got my cheeks back. I got my jawline back. I got my chin back, my neck. You know, I got a neck again. My face is no longer round. It's well defined. And you'll see all the weight that I've lost. It's really amazing. And it's scary for me when I see what I look like 6 months ago and then I see what I look like now. It's scary. It's embarrassing that I let myself go. But that'll never happen again. And with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, my results are typical. Give them a call, 561-247-6300, 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. That's coastalweightlossecret.com. So I'm excited about the summit in Alaska. And I remember we used to have those exciting summits with President Reagan and Gorbachev, and I don't think we've really had a summit since the 80s. There's been meetings with presidents, but not a big deal like that. A summit's another level.
Well, I don't know. You got to be careful because remember, it takes two to tango, and I'm not sure that everybody involved wants peace.
I agree with that. Well, Trump will walk out like Reagan did in Reykjavik with Gorbachev.
I would say that's the most likely outcome I can imagine.
And if you guys don't, go back and watch that. I bet you the president remembers it, and I bet you he's gone back and watched it. So Reagan met with Gorbachev in Reykjavik, Iceland, and Gorbachev gave this absurd list of demands, like the United States cannot have any nuclear weapons whatsoever and all this stuff or whatever it was. I don't know, something stupid. Reagan walked out, got back on Air Force One. The Democrats wanted to impeach him for it. And then what happened? Gorbachev was begging, please, sir, please, let's make a deal. Let's make an arms deal, right? Hopefully it'll be like that.
The Democrats are consistent, if nothing else.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. We'll be back tomorrow. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m., and there's nonstop breaking news these days. God bless America, and of course, God bless our favorite president, Donald Trump. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. See you tomorrow at 6 a.m. All right, guys, listen, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, okay? And if you're already subscribed, make sure you like the video. And if you could share the video on your socials, that'd be great too, all right? Take care. Thanks for watching.